power should enter here in the normally closed switch, stop switch. Because that switch is closed, I have power here. If I have power here, I can enter that power in the first switch, in the normally open switch for preheat. Okay, it's a purple color. I am going to activate the crank relay. Purple color for the crank relay. And later, when I am going to connect the gauge, oil pressure, temperature, I am going to use other cable from here directly to one ignition bus bar that I am going to use later to connect other elements. The fuel transfer pump and the solenoid of the fuel injection pump and the engine start. Right now the engine starts and my engine is running. What is the element that when you remove your finger supply power in order to continue running the engine without your finger? Yes, the alternator. Okay, I start the engine starts, I continue for 10 seconds until the alternator produces power. When the alternator is producing power, I remove my finger and the engine continues running with the power coming from the alternator. Bingo! I want to stop, I press this one, that contactor open, no power here, this connection that right now is closed. If I remove the power, right now is open, I don't have fuel pump, I don't have solenoid of the fuel injection pump, closed, and the engine is stopped immediately. Now we are going to install in this harness the oil pressure switch and the coolant temperature switch. Be careful, my friends. In this corner right now, you have the picture of the oil pressure switch. The oil pressure switch is a normally closed switch. When the temperature of the coolant is below 180, the contacts A and B stay closed. And the people confuse the coolant temperature switch with the coolant temperature sensor. They are different, and we are going to use both of them in this diagram today. Okay, I am going to install my oil pressure switch here, and I am going to install my coolant temperature switch here. Both of them, this is coolant switch, coolant temperature switch, and this is oil pressure switch. Both of them are in series with the purple cable. The oil pressure sensor normally is bolted on the bracket where the oil filter is located, and normally the oil pressure sensor have two terminals, one terminal for ground and the other terminal to send the signal for the gauge. Exactly with the fuel. The fuel have one for ground, one terminal for ground, and other terminal. Excuse me, what is the color for the oil pressure sensor? The color of the wire for oil pressure, light blue. With power on ignition, you disconnect the signal and you make a jumper in between signal and ground, and immediately the needle should be pointed to full. When you remove the connection, immediately the needle returns to empty or zero. That's the procedure to check if the problem is the gauge.